Adipose tissue is increasingly recognized not just as an energy storage depot or endocrine organ, but as a sophisticated immunological interface capable of modulating inflammation in both protective and pathological ways. Among its most underappreciated contributions to systemic health is its role as a source of anti-inflammatory cytokines and lipid mediators, substances that actively support metabolic balance, tissue repair, and immune tolerance. Far from being uniformly pro-inflammatory, healthy fat tissue maintains a nuanced immunological profile, secreting a combination of molecules that both sense threat and signal resolution. This balancing act is particularly critical in a metabolic environment where inflammation, if left unchecked, can disrupt insulin signaling, damage organs, and accelerate aging. One of the most compelling anti-inflammatory molecules produced by adipocytes is adiponectin. Secreted abundantly from healthy subcutaneous fat, adiponectin acts systemically to counteract the inflammatory tone that often accompanies metabolic stress. It inhibits the activation of NF-B and JNK signaling pathways, both central to the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines like TNF-A and IL-6. At the same time, adiponectin promotes the activity of AMPK and PPARA, key metabolic regulators that improve insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial function, and lipid oxidation. In this dual role, adiponectin blunts inflammatory cascades while enhancing energy efficiency, making it a uniquely protective molecule in the context of obesity, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. Interleukin-10, IL-10, another anti-inflammatory cytokine secreted by adipocytes and resident immune cells, plays an equally critical role in maintaining metabolic tissue health. IL-10 suppresses the production of inflammatory mediators in macrophages and dampens antigen presentation, helping to prevent chronic immune activation. Within adipose tissue, IL-10 fosters a regulatory environment that limits immune cell infiltration, reduces oxidative stress, and supports insulin action. Experimental models have shown that enhancing IL-10 expression in fat improves insulin sensitivity, lowers systemic inflammation, and preserves tissue architecture even in the face of overnutrition. These findings suggest that boosting anti-inflammatory outputs from adipose tissue may be as important as reducing fat mass in managing metabolic diseases. Adipose-resident immune cells, particularly regulatory T cells, TREGs, also contribute to this anti-inflammatory microenvironment. TREGs are enriched in visceral fat in lean individuals and secrete IL-10 and TGF-SS, both of which help suppress excessive immune activation. The presence and function of these cells are tightly regulated by local cytokine and metabolic cues, including signals from adipocytes themselves. When fat tissue is healthy, this immune adipocyte crosstalk supports a state of tolerance and resilience. When adipocytes become hypertrophic and stressed, this balance shifts toward a pro-inflammatory state, but again, this is a response to dysfunction, not an inherent quality of fat. In this context, it becomes clear that adipose tissue has the capacity not only to initiate inflammation in response to metabolic danger, but also to resolve it. This regulatory flexibility is critical. Most inflammatory responses are not damaging in themselves, they are part of normal immune vigilance. The danger arises when the body loses its ability to turn off these responses. Adiponectin, IL-10, and related lipid mediators like resolvins and protectins function as off switches, restoring tissue homeostasis and allowing healing to occur. These molecules prevent the escalation of acute metabolic stress into chronic inflammation and irreversible tissue damage. Moreover, this anti-inflammatory capacity may have implications for aging and longevity. Chronic low-grade inflammation, or inflammaging, is a hallmark of aging and a driving force behind many age-related diseases. Supporting adipose tissue's anti-inflammatory function may help slow this process. Indeed, centenarians and metabolically healthy older adults often have higher levels of circulating adiponectin and better preserved adipose immune architecture than their age-matched peers. This suggests that maintaining fat tissue functionality, especially its capacity to resolve inflammation, may be one of the keys to healthy aging. Diet, exercise, and circadian alignment all influence the balance of pro- and anti-inflammatory signals in fat. Regular physical activity enhances adiponectin levels, while diets rich in omega-3 fatty acids, fiber, and polyphenols support IL-10 expression and reduce oxidative stress. Even modest weight loss has been shown to shift adipose tissue immune profiles back toward an anti-inflammatory phenotype, improving insulin sensitivity and organ function. These shifts demonstrate that adipose inflammation is not fixed. It is dynamic, reversible, and highly responsive to lifestyle and environmental inputs. Thus, adipocytes are not just instigators of inflammation, they are active participants in its resolution. Through the secretion of anti-inflammatory mediators like adiponectin and IL-10, adipose tissue helps maintain tissue homeostasis, support metabolic resilience, and protect against chronic disease. Its immunological intelligence, its ability to sense, respond, and recalibrate, makes fat not a passive or pathological organ, but a finely tuned regulator of systemic health. In supporting adipocyte function and promoting a balanced cytokine profile, we may find not just a path away from disease, but a deeper understanding of how the body preserves its internal harmony across decades of life.